come on in. This is the internal part. So this used to be the meditation room, the church room, the nursery, the diner, everything. So if you can imagine this room with no windows, totally dark, and this domed ceiling, and that was it. So once I saw it, this sort of popped into my head. I was envisioning 4 holes, not 3, but once we did it, I was like, this is it. So if you notice, we have taken sky blue paint with a slight, little more white in it maybe than it should be, and then we added bright white bulbs to it with a little blue tint to try to get the feeling that you're outside. It's almost like the sky. So it turned out great, and I may eventually make it even a little bit brighter, but we wanted to give it a feel of being in the outdoors, even though we can see the mountains from right here. So, but we also wanted to keep the place in respect, and because that's what it is, we wanted to keep it kind of like a bunker or a shelter or a nuclear fallout shelter. So we went with a lot of aluminum, a lot of grays. We went with the pad, and I found old chairs that kind of fit the time period. And even this table, these young guys, and with a little bit of training, we made all the furniture. We made these tables, we made this, they painted everything. Cabinets and so forth. And so we went and bought 3/16 sheets of stainless steel and strapping, and we found these little button type roof screws, and built the tables ourselves, keeping it kind of gray. We found a church bench, repurposed it, painted it, sanded it, painted it, made it look as if it were used by the church here, and it turned out to be beautiful. And this allows people to slide in and sit back in there without hitting your head too much, and it allows us to utilize more of the room. But we made the table 2 people wide on both ends to get more folks in and to really push togetherness and family, which is what this place ultimately will be about groups. So, again, we like our salt lamps. Had to go with a horizontal freezer and fridge because we can't stand anything up here. Can't even put anything on the walls. So, this ended up working great, extra space. And on the other side, we put a large 3-door refrigerator, which works well. And then this great big 10-foot by 5-foot deck. We cut it out, put a 6-man stove, a 6-eye stove in it. And again, goes back to institutional feel. We wanted it stainless steel. We want people to feel like, wow, we're really in, I don't say prison, in an enclosed area with a lot of stainless steel, and it's for cooking for large groups. We have 3 sinks, 3 1-foot deep sinks with 2 faucets, and we want to keep that whole idea. The half window here was actually their escape hole, which we found buried in the side that most people didn't know about. It was a little hatch for, I guess, the secret getaway. So, but we cleaned that. We put some cement out there to put a smoker and those sorts of things, also to help to get the water to go away. You can see those stones that are outside, right there. They are actually from the property, and they are petrified wood. I just found this one yesterday. Kind of crazy. It almost looks like a branch, doesn't it? But it's a piece of wood that is, I don't know how many millions of years old, but they're all over the property. Really cool. So, But we're trying to utilize this space in front of that hole for something, and I realized the only thing I could use it for is the kitchen and the sink. So we took this and I pushed it back in as far as I could, made this out of stainless steel as well, and then hooked up all our plumbing and also brought in the gas line through here for the stove. So some of the hot water is electric heat, some of it electric, some of the hot water is gas, and most of the other heat that comes into place will be, I'm going to call it geothermal. So anyway, we love it. Beautiful. Ended up being better than I thought, and it's fantastic. So, and most of it is made from pieces and parts, you know, and so my background, you know, trying to being resourceful, and the artist in me coming up with the creative aspects of this thing, it was just both two worlds combining. So it's been a lot of fun for me. So we had to have some way to get groceries and that kind of stuff to the kitchen, so we made a mudroom. We used the same tile up here, same colors. We came up with a little orange church bench, as you can see. That fits it, and the church, they would have had a little Victorian lamp like that, I'm sure. And this is something that I really appreciate here. That is an elk head, where we found that elk, me and one of the boys up in the mountains. We found a winter kill elk. So we removed his head and cleaned it off and carried it out of the woods, boiled it, and we made that. And I like the twist of the presentation of it with someone who's important in the church. One of their pictures, put it that way. So, and the violet color in it. So, really cool. We kept our little Buddha right here. When we come in, we like to rub his tummy. And this will be used for, you know, gloves and hats and those kind of things. And again, we used steel off the grain bin, welded it in place here, and then put wire and put other cement in here to smooth off this whole thing. And kind of rubberized paint again to seal it a little bit. And we had to go, you know, build these little baffles sticking up to keep the dirt and the soil outside. And then we went with a pine tongue and groove, and with this, we put 2 coats of a gray stain on it that is really good stuff that'll make it last a long time, but gives it this gray feel so it matches up with the cement and our other colors more. Almost all of our paint here came from thrift stores or was here. So we made a huge chart. We would mix and match all sorts of paint, and it's an hour to Home Depot anyway, so that, you know, also is good incentive to mix the paint. But we would mix everything on our own, just about. So, and some of the paint's 20 years old, but it's holding up. And then eventually, you're outside. So, we put a driveway in each side, and this parking area here, and then we leveled all of this, and you know, this is the other side of the container. You can see this is where our smoker is. Barbecue. This helps the water go away from the bunker. And then this is what the rocks on the far side will eventually look like, to create a distance between the cement and the exterior. And that's what the whole thing looked like originally. So, kind of interesting, you can see up under there where that hood vent is. So we had to cut a 6-inch hole and add that vent. So we went up with tires, because that certainly would be an area where cold air would come through. Put tires up and We covered that as well, so it should be well insulated down. So, and that's it over on this side of the house.